Hello everyone, this is Melissa, the aim of the M&H of Bespoke Hairstyles. I hope you're well. This posting is with regards to hair loss. I have had many comments, questions about hair loss. The message is clear with all the research Igets and I are doing. Just because you are natural and have chosen to go natural or have chosen to lox your hair does not mean you won't suffer hair loss. If there are practices that you are doing on a regular basis that aren't working for your follicles. Okay, so you could be somebody who has permed your hair in forever watching this posting and your hair hasn't broken. That's great. But for somebody like myself, my hair broke, and I think I'm a little bit freaked out at the fact that somebody has to wear gloves to apply a cream to my head, because I'm aware that my pores are open. So, and that's where I guess when people perm their hair continually and their hair grows out of their scalp like it's permed, it's because there's a bit of perm underneath that scalp, because there'll always be residue when your hair is, even though it's thoroughly rinsed, there'll always be residue, the perm residue. So it didn't work for me. It might work for somebody else, but it just did not work for me. Just like somebody else could choose to put Ghana braids, put heavy extensions on their hair, and pull tight in the same direction, and choose not to drink much water, and their hair is fabulous. It works for you. But for me, when I talk about hair, and I talk about my personal experience, because that's all I can relate to. Really mine, and it gets personal experience, and maybe my daughter as she grows, grows into her own. But so when I talk, if you're not finding that this is something that you can empathize with or understand, it's probably because your journey is completely different from mine. So this is about hair loss. Just because your hair is natural and you stop putting chemical on your hair does not mean you couldn't suffer hair loss. Igets and I have researched this, and so even when you sister locks your hair and you're suffering hair loss, there is something wrong. There is something happening, and one of the first things you need to look at is traction alopecia. Traction alopecia is where you have lost your hair as a result of pulling. There's no other way to call it. And there's so many ways you can pull your hair. You can pull your hair by it being brushed, by being combed, by being straightened, blow dried, by you pulling your hair in a tight style, by pulling your hair in the same direction. It is limitless, the reasons why. By your locks being tightened into locks too tightly. Everybody has different follicles and different strand types. For example, Igets strand type is strong. It is like rope. You can't break it, but she has very weak follicles. So all the perming, all the rollers in her hair, all the blow drying, all the things she did in her past, even let's talk about when she was a little girl and her hair was tightly braided, all of that showed up when she started having babies. That hormonal shift, we're seeing it a lot with clients. When you have that hormonal shift, all of a sudden, all the weakness in your follicles starts showing up. So be aware. When your hair starts falling out, don't think, I didn't do anything this year. No, it's what you probably done 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. That's what's showing up now. So the message is clear. When you know better, do better. Start looking after your little baby's follicles now. Start checking